Stop talking. Right now. Just for a moment. Listen. That sound you hear? That constant, nervous chatter in your own mind? That desperate need to explain, to justify, to be understood? That is the sound of your power bleeding out. Your mouth is a traitor, and it is silently destroying your life, one word at a time. You think you are communicating. You think you are explaining. You think you are building bridges. You are not. You are begging. You are defending. You are proving to everyone in the room that you are not the one in charge. Have you ever walked away from an argument, your mind screaming with all the perfect things you should have said? Have you ever tried to explain a decision, only to watch the other person's eyes glaze over with impatience and doubt? Have you ever poured your heart out in a meeting, sharing what you believe is a brilliant idea, only to be met with blank stares? While the person who has been silent the entire time says 3 words, and the entire room falls silent to listen. You feel it, don't you? The sickening feeling that your words are weightless, that they float away like feathers in the wind, leaving no impact. You are tired of it. Tired of having to convince people to respect you. Tired of feeling like a lawyer on trial for your own existence. Today, you stop being the defense attorney. Today, you become the judge. This video will expose a truth that 99% of people will live and die without ever understanding. True power is not found in what you say. It is forged in what you withhold. We are going to identify and shatter the 5 verbal poisons that are making you look cheap, uncertain, and weak. And I will give you the antidote, the Machiavellian art of using silence and precision to transform yourself from a desperate defender into an undeniable authority, whose words are not the start of a conversation, but the final word. This is not a communication lesson. This is an initiation into power. Now, before we begin, make this your mantra. Drop it in the comments below. My silence is more powerful than words. Let's begin by naming the battlefield. It's not the meeting room, it's not the dinner table. It is the space between your brain and your mouth. And right now, it is enemy territory. You suffer from a condition we will call verbal hemorrhage, the disease of the powerless. It is the compulsive, unconscious need to fill every silence with noise. It is the belief that more words equal more value. It is the deep-seated fear that if you stop talking, you will disappear. This disease is not your fault. It was programmed into you. You were taught that communication is key. You were told to express yourself. You were encouraged to share your feelings. This is the advice the powerful give to the weak to ensure they remain weak. While you are busy expressing yourself, they are busy observing. While you are sharing, they are gathering intelligence. While you are communicating, they are dominating. The person who talks the most in any interaction is almost always the one with the least power. Why? Because their words betray their need. Their need for approval. Their need for validation. Their need for control. The truly powerful person has no such need. Their power is not external. It does not depend on your understanding or agreement. It is an internal state of being. And that state is one of calm, centered, and often silent authority. Machiavelli once wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him." But there is a faster method. Listen to how he speaks. A weak ruler is a waterfall of words, chaotic, constant, and ultimately, powerless. A strong ruler is a deep river, quiet on the surface, with a powerful, unstoppable current beneath. Your words are either leaking your power or amplifying it. There is no in-between. Today, you learn to stop the leak. You learn to build the dam. Here are the 5 verbal poisons that are betraying you daily, and the Machiavellian antidote to each. Verbal poison number 1, the over-explanation. This is the most common and the most lethal. It is the verbal habit of the chronically insecure. The symptom. Someone questions your decision, and you immediately launch into a 5-minute monologue. You lay out your entire thought process, every piece of data you considered, every angle you analyzed. You are not just answering their question. You are presenting your doctoral thesis on why you are not an idiot. Someone asks why you can't do something, and you give them a detailed itinerary of your life, complete with apologies and expressions of regret. You are not just saying no. You are begging for their forgiveness for having a life. The dark psychology at play. The over-explanation is not about clarity. It is about seeking permission for your own choices after you have already made them. It is a subconscious plea for validation. You are saying, please, see my logic. Please agree that my decision was correct. Please approve of me. You are turning your statement into a negotiation. Your decision is no longer a fact. It is a proposal, and you have just invited them to critique it, question it, and ultimately, reject it. You have willingly surrendered the position of authority and adopted the position of the supplicant. The communicator's mistake. The average person believes that more information builds more trust. If I just explain why they think, then they will understand and respect my position. This is a fatal miscalculation. In the world of power, explanation is weakness. The more you explain, the less confident you sound. The more you justify, the more you invite judgment. A king does not explain his decree. A judge does not explain her verdict. The explanation is implicit in the authority of the position. The Machiavellian antidote, the statement of fact. You must replace the desperate monologue with a calm, brief, and final statement. Your new guiding principle is this: state, do not justify. Let's see the transformation. Then, why did you choose this strategy over the one I suggested? Weak response: well, I'm so glad you asked. I looked at your strategy, and it had some great points, but I was worried about the budget and the timeline, and then I saw this data that suggested that maybe a different approach would be better in the long run, although I could be wrong. Powerful response: this was the most effective path forward. Silence. You do not elaborate unless asked for a specific piece of data. Them, can you work this weekend? Weak response: oh, I'm so sorry. I really wish I could, but my cousin is in town and I promised I would see her. We haven't seen each other in years and I would feel so guilty if I cancelled. Powerful response: I'm not available. Silence. Your availability is not a debate. This is not rude. This is sovereign. You are communicating that your decision is the result of a competent internal process that does not require external validation. This will feel like putting on a suit of armor for the first time. It will be heavy and unnatural. Your mind will scream at you to soften it, to add an excuse, to make them understand. You must treat this urge as the voice of your own weakness. As Machiavelli might advise, a declaration must be clean, sharp, and final. To follow it with a long justification is like sharpening a sword and then apologizing for the blade. It negates the very power you sought to project. Let your decisions stand on their own. They will either be proven right by the results, or they will be a lesson you learn from. But they will never again be put on trial in the court of other people's opinions. Verbal poison number 2, the qualifying phrase. This is the subtle assassin of your authority. These are the little words and phrases you sprinkle into your sentences to soften them, to make them less direct, to avoid offending anyone. And in doing so, you neuter your own message. The symptom. You are constantly using phrases like, I just think that maybe. This might be a stupid idea, but I kind of feel like we should. I'm no expert, but does that make sense? You are apologizing for your opinion before you have even stated it. You are handing the listener a disclaimer, a permission slip to dismiss what you are about to say. The dark psychology at play. Qualifying phrases are a form of preemptive surrender. You are anticipating disagreement or criticism, and you are trying to shield yourself from it by lowering the stakes. You are essentially saying, don't attack me, I'm not even that confident in what I'm saying. It's just a small, unimportant thought. This does not make you seem humble. It makes you seem irrelevant. It signals to everyone in the room that you do not believe in your own ideas. So why should they? The person who qualifies their speech is asking for permission to have a voice. The powerful person assumes they have a voice and speaks. The humble person's mistake. They believe this habit makes them more likable and less threatening. They see it as collaborative and inclusive. But what they fail to understand is that in critical moments, people are not looking for likability. They are looking for certainty. They are looking for leadership. And the language of qualification is the language of a follower, not a leader. The Machiavellian antidote, the language of command. You must systematically hunt down and eliminate these weak phrases from your vocabulary. You must learn to speak in declarative statements. Instead of, "I just think that maybe we should reconsider the budget," you say, "We need to reconsider the budget." Instead of, "This might be a stupid idea, but what if we tried a new marketing channel?" you say, "I propose we test a new marketing channel." Instead of, "I kind of feel like this isn't working," you say, "This isn't working." At the end of a statement, never, ever ask, "Does that make sense?" It reeks of insecurity. If what you said was logical, it makes sense. You don't need their validation. Finish your statement, and then hold the silence. Let them be the one to break it. This is a change in the grammar of your power. You are moving from the subjunctive mood of what if and maybe to the indicative mood of what is. You are no longer presenting your thoughts as timid suggestions. You are presenting them as clear, confident realities. Machiavelli taught that a prince's word must be his bond. His pronouncements must have the weight of law. When you litter your speech with qualifying phrases, your words have the weight of a suggestion box. People can take it or leave it. Mostly, they leave it. This will require conscious, deliberate practice. Record yourself in a practice meeting. Listen back to your own speech. Count how many times you use these verbal tics. It will shock you. Then, you practice again and again, until the language of command becomes your native tongue. Speak as if you have a right to be heard. Because you do. But no one will grant you that right until they hear you claim it in your own words. Verbal poison number 3, the emotional reaction. Your emotions are the most predictable part of you. And in the game of power, predictability is a death sentence. The symptom. Someone criticizes your work, and you immediately get defensive. Your voice gets higher, your speech gets faster. You are no longer in control. Your ego is. Someone insults you, and you lash out with anger. You have just given them exactly what they wanted, a reaction. Someone gives you unexpected praise, and you become flustered and overly grateful. You have just shown them how desperate you are for their approval. Every uncontrolled emotional reaction is a piece of intelligence you are giving to your opponent. You are showing them your buttons. And once someone knows your buttons, they can play you like a video game. The dark psychology at play. Emotional reactions are primal. They are fast. They bypass your rational mind. Manipulators love this. They don't want to engage with your logic. They want to engage with your triggers. They will intentionally provoke you to make you look unstable, to force you into a mistake, or to distract from their own weakness. When you react emotionally, you are no longer playing the game. The emotion is playing you. You are a puppet, and your trigger is the string. The authentic person's mistake. The modern world celebrates authenticity and vulnerability, often confusing them with emotional incontinence. People believe that expressing every feeling as it arises is a sign of being real. In a therapeutic setting, perhaps. In the arena of power, it is strategic suicide. Your realness is being used to make you predictable. Your vulnerability is being used as an open invitation for attack. The Machiavellian antidote, the art of the controlled response. The strategist does not suppress their emotions. That is a myth. They feel everything. the anger, the fear, the joy, but they introduce a critical space between the feeling and the response. A pause, a moment of cold, hard calculation. In that pause, they ask one question: what is the most powerful response right now? Not the most honest response, not the most satisfying response, the most powerful response. Let's analyze the options. The situation: a rival publicly mocks your idea. The feeling: humiliation and anger. The weak, emotional response: that's not true. You don't know what you're talking about. You look defensive and weak. The powerful, controlled responses: the cold silence. You look at them, hold their gaze without expression, and then turn to someone else. You have just declared them irrelevant. The amused dismissal: you give a small, knowing smile, as if to a misbehaving child. An interesting perspective. You have just framed their attack as immature. The strategic question: what is it about this idea that you find so threatening? You have just reversed the frame and put them on the defensive. Notice that none of these powerful responses are what you felt like doing. They are what the strategy demanded. As Machiavelli wrote, a wise man does at once what the fool does finally. The fool vents his anger now and regrets it later. The wise man contains his anger, lets it cool into a hard, sharp point, and uses it with precision when the time is right. This is the highest form of discipline. To feel the fire of rage in your chest, but to respond with the coolness of ice. To feel the sting of an insult, but to show only the calm of a placid lake. When you master this, you become unreadable. You become unpredictable. People will stop trying to provoke you because it no longer works. It's like throwing matches into water. Your emotional composure becomes your armor, and it is impenetrable. Verbal poison number 4, the compulsion to fill silence. Silence is a vacuum, and the average human being is terrified of a vacuum. Their anxiety rushes in, and words spill out to fill the void. This is one of the most common and most exploited weaknesses in human communication. The symptom: you ask a question, and the other person doesn't answer immediately. You panic. You rephrase the question. You offer possible answers. You start talking about something else. You make a statement in a negotiation, and your counterpart goes quiet, thinking. You can't stand the tension. You immediately offer a concession to break the silence. You are in a conversation, and a natural pause occurs. You feel an overwhelming urge to say something, anything, to keep the momentum going. The dark psychology at play. The person who is more comfortable with silence controls the interaction. When you rush to fill a silence, you are communicating your own anxiety and your need for the other person's comfort. You are effectively saying, "This tension is too much for me. I am the weaker one here. I will do the work to make it go away." A strategic operator uses silence as a tool of interrogation. They will ask a pointed question and then just wait. They know that your discomfort will make you talk. And when you talk nervously, you will reveal things you never intended to. You will give away your negotiating position, your hidden fears, your true priorities. All they had to do was wait. The social person's mistake. The social, friendly person sees silence as a sign of a failing connection. They see it as awkwardness that must be repaired. Their goal is to make everyone feel comfortable. But in a power dynamic, comfort is often the enemy of truth. The truth lives in the uncomfortable silence. The Machiavellian antidote: become the master of the pause. You must reprogram your brain. You must learn to see silence not as a void to be filled, but as a space to be owned. You must learn to love the pause. After you ask a question, shut your mouth. No matter how long it takes. Let them be the one to break the silence. Their first words after a long pause are often the most truthful. After you make a bold statement, hold the silence. Let your words land with their full weight. If you immediately follow up with an explanation, you dilute the impact. In a negotiation, when you state your price or your terms, deliver the number, and then go completely quiet. The first person who speaks loses. When someone is emotional, instead of trying to talk them down, sometimes the most powerful thing is to just sit with them in silence. Your calm, quiet presence can be more commanding than 1,000 words of advice. Machiavelli understood the theatre of power. A prince who is always talking, always explaining, seems like a nervous courtier. A prince who can command a room with a look, who can let a heavy silence do his work for him, is a prince who is truly feared and respected. This is not about being antisocial. It is about being strategic. When you master the pause, you stop being a reactor to the flow of conversation. You become the conductor. You control the tempo, the rhythm, and the tension. People will start to lean in when you speak. They will listen more carefully, because they know you are not just making noise. You are using words and silence with purpose. And that is the essence of authority. Verbal poison number 5, the language of a follower. There is a lexicon of weakness, a set of words and phrases that immediately brand you as a subordinate, a follower, someone who is seeking guidance rather than providing it. And you are probably using this language every single day without even realizing it. The symptom: your speech is littered with permission seeking. Can I add something here? Is it okay if I ask a question? I'd like to, if that's all right with everyone. You defer to others constantly. What do you guys think we should do? I'll go along with whatever the group decides. You use tentative, low conviction language, even when you are certain. I feel like this is probably the right way to go. It seems to me that this might be an issue. The dark psychology at play. This language is a habit learned in the hierarchical structures of school and early employment. It is designed to show deference to authority. The problem is, when you carry this language into all areas of your life, you are permanently casting yourself in the role of the subordinate. You are verbally bowing down, even when you are standing in a room of your peers. You are communicating that you do not see yourself as a leader, as an equal, as someone whose opinion has inherent weight. And if you do not see yourself that way, why would anyone else? The team player's mistake. The person who thinks of themselves as a good team player often adopts this language to seem collaborative and non-threatening. They believe they are fostering harmony. What they are actually doing is relinquishing their power to influence the direction of the team. The person who frames every idea as a question will always lose to the person who frames their idea as a confident proposal. The Machiavellian antidote, the lexicon of leadership. You must purge the language of the follower and adopt the language of the leader. A leader does not ask for permission to speak. They speak. A leader does not defer to the group. They guide the group. A leader does not express feelings. They state positions. Here is the tactical language shift. Permission seeking. Instead of, "Can I add something?" You wait for a pause, and you say, "My thought on this is X." Instead of, "Sorry to interrupt, but..." You say, "One important point we haven't considered is Y." Deferring. Instead of, "What do you guys think?" As an opening, you say, "Here is my assessment. I recommend we do it for these reasons. I'm open to hearing other perspectives." You have set the frame. They are now reacting to your proposal, not the other way around. Low conviction. Instead of, "I feel like this is a problem," you say, "This is a problem." Instead of, "It seems like this is the best option," you say, "This is the best option." This is not about being a dictator. It is about demonstrating ownership and conviction. Even if the group ultimately decides to go a different way, you have established yourself as a person of substance, a leader who brings a clear point of view to the table. The person who just asks, "What does everyone else think?" brings nothing. They are a passenger. Machiavelli advised the prince that he must be seen as decisive. Even a wrong decision made with confidence is often better than perpetual indecision. The language of the follower is the language of indecision. The language of the leader is the language of conviction. Start listening to the most respected person in any room. Listen to their grammar. They speak in facts, proposals, and directives. Then listen to the person who gets ignored. They speak in questions, feelings, and apologies. The code is right there in front of you. It is time to start speaking it. Phase 4. The vision of transformation and identity choice. You have seen the 5 poisons. The over-explanation. The qualifying phrase. The emotional reaction. The compulsion to fill silence. The language of a follower. These are not just bad habits. They are the verbal chains that have kept you in a prison of your own making. Every time you use them, you reinforce your own powerlessness. You tell the world, and you tell yourself, that you are not the one in charge. You now stand at a precipice. Behind you is a lifetime of being misunderstood, of feeling weightless, of begging for the respect that should be yours by right. A lifetime of your words betraying your own strength. In front of you is a new path. A path of verbal discipline. A path where your words are not just sounds, but forces of nature. Where your silence is more intimidating than another man's shout. Where your statements are not invitations for debate, but the final word. This is the path of the authority. The path of the sovereign. The person who has mastered the battlefield between their mind and their mouth. Most people will choose to stay behind. The comfort of familiar verbal habits is too seductive. The hard work of reprogramming a lifetime of conditioning is too daunting. They will continue to over-explain, to qualify, to react, and to wonder why the world never takes them seriously. But you have stayed. You have listened. You have recognized the sound of your own chains. And now, you hold the key. The choice is brutally simple. Do you continue to let your words betray you? Or do you forge them into the weapons of your own liberation? Phase 5. The concluding reinforcement and call to action. Power does not shout. It does not plead. It does not explain itself. It states its reality, and the world adjusts. Your voice can be a weapon of immense power, but only when you have mastered the discipline of when and how to use it. And more importantly, when not to. If this video has finally revealed the invisible war you've been losing, then declare your commitment to win it. Smash that like button. Share this with someone who is still poisoning themselves with the language of the weak. And subscribe for more advanced strategies on the path to absolute self-mastery. Now, for your final decree, leave this statement in the comments below. My words are my weapons, and my silence is my shield. Remember, the world is full of people making noise. Be the one who makes an impact. Stop talking. Start commanding.